Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into Titan Talk once again. We even put Manny on the show for this episode as well. Starring Manny, who's going to give us more updates regarding the new content that's going to be coming to the game, or rather, the new gods coming to the game is what we'll be going over a little bit today.
Yeah, so normally on the update before we show off the last announced god,
which is kind of a Monday. Right?
Yeah, which would normally have been on Monday.
Yeah.
We'll go through and we'll tell you who the next two gods are going to be. But because Monday is a holiday around the world, everywhere in the world celebrates Labor Day the same day. Yeah, it's like a global Labor Day is the same day around the world.
Did not know.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Okay.
But it is a holiday, not officially in America.
I feel like I've got to Google that now because I'm like, no, there's no way that is in the UK as well. But maybe it is. However, 2 times worshippers all weekend, actually, on the back of that. So we have a 2 times worshipper weekend already active, and that'll be going on until Tuesday.
Yeah, it's a long weekend because of Labor Day. So there are 2 double worshipers live now. No show on Monday because we're not working. Apparently not everywhere. Okay, I swear I saw like an infographic that said everywhere was Labor Day.
The world doesn't revolve around Americans alone. Okay,
no, it definitely doesn't. I thought that maybe the whole world had agreed just for once that we should honor the workers.
Honor the workers. No, we don't do that everywhere. No. That's on different days of the year.
Anyway, sure. But yeah, anyway, it's a long weekend this weekend in America at least. I thought it was global. I'm wrong.
It's okay,
but
that's a bonus.
We aren't going to be here on Monday.
You're getting God reveals early.
Yes.
And not later is the bigger conversation there. Before we go over quick reveals, I'm just going to quickly.
Okay. Someone in chat says says USA has too many holidays.
No, they don't.
Get back to work. We have no holidays.
They at least compared to the UK, where I'm from originally. They have less holidays. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Guaranteed.
Anyway.
They don't have bank holidays as often as you guys do.
Regardless, we're not here on Monday. We're going to talk about the next 2 gods today. We thought that sounded fun.
But real quick, I'm just going to go through some hotfix stuff. Since we came on Titan Talks on Wednesday, just a couple of things that came out on Thursday and today for you all. Quick fix for Yorm regarding his AO1 range has been increased. It was a fix. It seems it was a little bit shorter on the spittoon range than it should have been. So, I mean, it is a spit. That's really what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's hocking up loogies. And
now I want like a skin where there's like the animated like cartoon sound of
we put a bucket on the screen.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. So Yorm's range has been increased on his 1. Also, Golden Blade has been adjusted and fixed to fix his scaling issues there. Also, a couple of things with Titan Death sounds being cut off. That's been fixed. And alongside an issue with health, voiceover for playing after death, a bit too loud. Also, God for Giannis. AO1, he's now, if you go through the portal, you will get your movement speed bonus. That wasn't working as intended. And also there's a couple of issues with Hoi's AO2, or a second ability, the Mark of the Golden Crow, not necessarily targeting correctly. So that's been fixed as well. We also did have a hotfix yesterday that if you were playing in the afternoon, you may have had a couple of issues on the live servers. We apologize for that, but we resolved it really quickly, actually.
Yeah, it was like 20 or 30 minutes, which is relatively quickly. Basically what happened is we'd rolled out a new server hotfix. That unintentionally broke compatibility with the version of the game that people had downloaded.
Yep.
So if you had logged on during that brief period, you were in a really bad state and you couldn't. If you pushed your ability 1, you would basic attack.
Yeah.
If you
there was a mini game going on with a lot of streamers actually, where they were playing guess what my ability is now, and like someone saying like space is now my 3rd ability and stuff like that was going on. But you also couldn't buy items or seeds,
it was not good.
We apologize for that.
Very very much apologetic about that. We got to fix as quickly as we could as soon as we realized what was going wrong. And sorry about that.
Yeah.
I think that's the worst actual issue we've had in a long time.
Yeah.
And we fixed it in like 20 minutes, which, ideally it doesn't happen at all, but I think we reacted fairly quickly given.
I agree. I do think we reacted pretty quick, but also it's one of those things of if we're going to attempt faster hotfixes for issues that people find in the game, there's going to be situations where they can happen. We try and avoid them, as you can tell, but we may have 1 or 2 where they slip through and we try and adjust and make sure that's worked out. But just an update on what that was.
Yep.
It shouldn't hopefully happen again. More importantly, it's God reveal time.
It's God reveal time.
How do we do this?
Okay, so just so if you're watching, if you're not up to date, the next god coming out is Tsukuyomi.
Right.
We're going to be going over Tsukuyomi's full kit on stream on Wednesday, which is our next show. So tune in on Wednesday if you want to see Tsukuyomi and what he's all about. Mm-hmm. Tsukuyomi will come out on the Tuesday after that. So a week from Tuesday. I don't know what the date is.
The 9th of September.
The 9th of September.
Yes, September.
How
crazy is that? We're in September already.
So it's almost my birthday. Then following Tsukuyomi, we have a hunter, a carry, joining the roster.
Okay.
On September 29th. And that character is Xbalanque.
Dun, dun, dun. There you go.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah, so we have some work in progress of the new model coming for Xbalanque. Quite a bit of changes for this, I believe. I know you talked to Ben about the details.
Yeah. I'll just find some real quick. Bear with me. I didn't take the notes down as well as I should have for this. Goodness. Real quick, I'll just find what he said, because obviously he wasn't able to be on the show. But he said there's a few things he's still going to be touching up on this. Just as a heads up.
That's why we have the work in progress in the middle.
Work in progress written.
We know that somebody's going to like screen snip this and share it, and we're like, we just want to get the word out there. That's not quite done yet. We're still working on it.
Basically, his notes were his cape got changes and some of his costume also got adjusted. Wanted to make sure it looked like he was wearing Jaguar onesie almost, and more skin and a little bit more better balance for the design to flow better.
Yeah, I think just like
his notes here,
the color of the skin as well. Like he looked very, I don't know, I want to say cartoony.
I can bring up the side by side comparison if you like.
We'll look at the next one first.
Okay.
You can, but we also have him in his action pose, and I think the shield looks so cool from that perspective.
It does.
I don't even remember his shield having a design on it in Smite 1. Like it might have.
It may have, but you
couldn't really see it.
Maybe the next image will show that actually. If I want to bring that one up.
Yeah, let's do it.
Here's the little side by side that we had between the two. It did have a
design. But it's not nearly as cool.
Obviously, the fidelity of the image on the left isn't as clean as we would like it, but this was work in progress, and we kind of rushed through this morning, actually, to get this together. But you can kind of see the example basis of where we were in Smite 1 versus what it's kind of looking like in Smite 2.
Yeah, like
he's not orange anymore, is what
I don't know why he was so, like, orange-red. But yeah, I think he just looks a lot better. I think that the animal fur looks a lot better. I think that, you can see more details on the feathers, like... I don't know. I think it's an improvement that still is true to what Xbalanque was and how he looked, but just a better version.
Definitely.
So, pretty excited about it.
You had a little chat with some of the devs about they can maybe fill us in a little bit.
So Clumsy is the lead designer on Xbalanque, and I have a few teaser/notes for folks to go over. So the first one, Xbalanque's ultimate used to have an extra effect.
It did.
For people who've joined Smite 1 late or have never seen him in Smite 1.
When did that? I don't remember that change. 6, 7?
I don't know.
Chat now.
When you stopped, if you didn't stop moving for the last tick of the darkness dome over you, you were stunned.
Correct.
We are currently debating that feature.
Yep.
And if there's a way to bring it back or something similar that is interesting and a good benefit to the kit, but doesn't make him stupid, broken, overpowered.
That's fair.
So that's something that we're definitely investigating. I can't promise that we're going to do it right.
And I think the reason we saw this done, kind of removed at the time was also we were really struggling with, it's hard for a new player to understand that there's an audio cue that goes off, and then if I'm not stood still, you get stunned.
Yeah.
It's a very hard one for the player to understand. So I guess that's why in the first place. But revisiting that in some option.
Yeah. I think that, we've had a lot of interesting conversations about it, right?
Sure.
And there are some interesting ways that we can explore bringing it back in a way that will feel better for players. I don't want to spoil anything because we don't know what's going to happen for sure, but
not always
that's
guaranteed.
what we're working on. I think also just in general, all gods we're bringing over from Smite 1, he's going to be the Xbalanque that you know and love, right? He's going to throw bolos. The bolos are going to bounce if they hit things. He's going to shoot poison darts with his blowgun. He's going to do the CC immune dash thing.
Rising Jaguar.
Rising Jaguar. It's going to be very similar to the way he was because that's what players expect, but with some additional plus ones. We talked about the stun. We also, I do have a note from Clumsy that he will be pure strength scaling.
Okay.
Which I think kind of makes sense. He doesn't really have anything too magical about the kit, or too intelligence focused. So he will be pure strength scaling.
Okay.
The kit changes will be playing up the poison and kit synergies between abilities.
Yeah.
Is the teaser that I have.
Interesting. Because he did have some interaction with his poison and his Rising Jaguar where your Jaguar would do bonus damage if they were poisoned.
Yeah.
And how many poisons connected as well.
Yeah. So
Tricky God.
Yeah.
It's a big God. Understanding that you could hit people with multiple poisons of your second ability.
Yeah.
And connect them all, but you had to whip your camera a certain way to make sure you got more of them.
Yeah.
So
that's one of the things, as we've been recreating him, we were worried that when we first put him in that actually it would lag the server out when you use that ability because he fires out. It's not just I fire out this cone the way you would expect. It's a ton of little individual projectiles, and spawning all those projectiles at once, we were concerned that it could have a performance hit. But so far it's going okay. We've been playtesting an early version of him for the past couple of weeks, and then I do have a one other note specifically from Clumsy on Xbalanque, that his one has been a lot of headache to implement. And the branching bolas, which you would think it seems pretty easy, right? You hit a character, they branch out like this, right? It turns out there is actually a very subtle, maybe even not that subtle, I don't know. Clumsy was just explaining this to me. There is a homing projectile on that to hit nearby gods. So if you hit something, it doesn't necessarily go directly at a 45-degree angle or whatever. True. It will home in on where a god is, if a god is nearby.
So Xbalanque players have been hacking this whole time.
I guess. Just, aim hack
Auto-aim's been in Smite forever,
I didn't know. I don't play Xbalanque. So he's fun. I've played him at times, but I'm just not like a pro Xbalanque who knows all the details about how it works.
Sure.
So apparently it's been a bit of a headache to get that implemented the right way.
And I think that's when we revisit some of the older gods that like Xbalanque has been around forever, like since the OG times. So I guess the biggest thing there is like we go back and look at how it was implemented and go, we have to redo these things.
Yeah, Xbalanque, from what I remember about the lore, he was the first Mayan god in Smite. And I want to say that this was back when like the world was going to end in 2012. And that's why they added him to the game. You remember that?
Part of the Mayan culture.
The end of the Mayan long count of their calendar, right? Like, and it was like, hey, the world is going to end. We should do a Mayan god kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it was a fun time. And then because of him, we led to a lot more really fun Mayan gods that are in the game now. So
cool.
Pretty fun.
So that's all the notes we've got on the first.
That's what we had to share right now. So coming September 23rd will be Xbalanque.
Was it 23rd?
That's it.
You definitely got the date? Okay.
Yeah, September 23rd. I wrote it down.
I was scared of having the date. You can say it. I just want to confirm. Yeah, 23rd you are right.
And things are subject to change, but like the target is the 23rd for Xbalanque.
Yeah. Right. Target date for Xbalanque is then. I can get the next one.
Hi-Rez honoring Xbalanque saved us from 2012. Hey, I'm not saying it was us, but it could have been.
If that hits the news, that's not terrible. Smite saved the world. That'd be great.
And then, so that's one of the two guys we're going to talk about today. The other one that we will be talking about today will be coming out 2 weeks after that, on October 7th. It is traditionally a solo lane character.
Correct, I guess.
And that character is Osiris.
Dun, dun, dun. Osiris is back and coming to Smite 2.
Yes. Osiris, always a very popular character at high levels of play, and generally pretty popular in Conquest. Not as popular in other modes in Smite 1 at least, but in Smite 1 Conquest, he was always relatively popular. Like, because we track popularities across different modes and like, how are they doing? And some gods have kits that do better in different modes, right? Like Nox always had dummy popularity in Arena because
Arposh, Zeus, good examples of those two.
Yeah. So some characters are more popular in different modes, and he's always worked really well at that kind of like one-on-one boxing. Yeah. Like, let's fight.
Wants to fight you.
Yeah.
Yep.
And AJ used to always, whenever he was talking about Osiris, he's like, he just comes at you and does this. He just keeps doing this. Because like that's kind of what he does, right? Yeah. He's just constantly auto-attacking you and then weaving in abilities to like amplify that damage and stick to you better and whatnot. So pretty exciting that Osiris is coming. He was one of the, I don't think he was one of the original Smite gods, but he was a very early Smite 1 god.
He was an earlier god, but I don't think he wasn't, definitely wasn't original. But yeah, Osiris is going to be making its way into the game. I'm just checking if I did get any notes from him here. I don't have any notes on the Osiris. He's still work in progress at the moment, but this example is pretty good. We've got this little view as well from behind as well.
Yep.
And then also I'll show you.
I feel like the wrapping on him, like the bandages.
Yeah, look, the texture looks really good on
it. Yeah, it looks more like an actual bandaged person than. Yeah. I feel like he was another one of those like very cartoony early Smite models.
Definitely a trickier character to do as well with how his lore is as well. Of his design. Another little version of the up close, which looks really good. Like,
I feel like I can see like the individual texture of like the cloth on his leg.
Yeah, and even on the flail too.
Yeah.
And then the side-by-side. So there's kind of, the glow-up is real in the side-by-side there, as you can see.
Yeah, I think that, like, this was another one where it's like, why did he have, like, that weird skin tone in the original, you know? So I think,
you know, a mutant. I mean, I guess it was more zombified, I guess, was the idea there.
Yeah, and this is, you know, this one is further out, so this one is probably a little bit more work in progress than Xbalanque.
Yeah, definitely. A bit further out, so it takes a little bit more time for us to get further updates on this. But yeah, Osiris will be coming as well to the game. So you obviously, like Kilgoon mentioned, like solo laner dominantly can be seen in the jungle quite a lot too. Wouldn't be surprised to see him flex to both as usual. And he is a carry's nightmare. That's kind of by design.
Yes. I do have some details.
Yeah, please tell us more.
Some teasers. This is a Pon God. So Pon is leading this one, and some details that I have are that there has been some focus on giving you the ability to stay in your full spectral form longer.
Okay.
If you're playing well. So unfortunately, this won't apply to chat very much.
Wow.
But, no, I'm just kidding.
You roasted them today. Holy, that's my job to roast them. I am really sorry.
You're rubbing off on me.
Who did that? I'm so sorry. My bad.
No, I'm just kidding.
Damn. We'll have no viewers.
But yeah, so if you you'll be able to stay in the spectral form in combat if you're playing well a little bit longer. There's some quality of life that's happening for his ability usage and cooldowns and how that all weaves together.
Yeah.
He will have some protection-based scaling.
Okay.
Which is interesting.
Makes sense.
And he will be rewarded for sticking to his targets well, which is kind of what you want to do. But like basically like rewarding you for playing into the loop of, you know,
doing your thing. Yeah. W King is kind of what I'm seeing there. Yeah.
And I don't have a full like reveal of what his aspect is, because we aren't committed to it yet. But there is an idea that we are playing with that flips the script on his passive. It's the exact wording I was given from Pon. And I left it as that because I thought it was a good teaser.
Flip the script.
Flip the script on his passive. So, so we're gonna have a very exciting,
So Tsukuyomi, Xbalanque, and now Osiris.
Yes.
They're going to be in the queue, and I guess after we get to Osiris, we'll talk more about what's coming further down the line as well. But I'm excited to see these two get implemented. They already look great from what I can see on some of the screenshots we've got in the early models, and we have been playtesting them a little bit behind the scenes as well. I expect more playtests as we continue.
Yep.
To give you more of an adjustment, and I'm sure we'll have one of the devs on at some point to talk a little bit more in detail, give a few more hints away. But it's still the early stages. I guess.
Still a little bit early. We're still over a month out from the next one of these actually shipping, right? And there's quite a lot that design wise isn't locked until towards the end.
Did they mention if Osiris is going to be hybrid scaling at all?
The only thing I have specifically is that something there are some things that scales off protections. I don't know versus strength and int. I didn't ask Pon. He didn't tell me.
We'll find out more on whether there's int involved there for sure. Osiris is a Halloween god. I mean, technically, I guess. I mean, his law has nothing to do with Halloween. However, the connection, because of we've done skins around it.
He has a lot of Halloween skins actually, because he's got the Frankenstein. He's got the brain in a jar.
Yes,
which is different.
Like a sciencey.
I want to say he might even have another one, but
he's dead. His people are reason. Yeah, so that's a relationship. Yeah, he's technically undead. Dead.
Yes.
Come on, give us a teaser for the fourth god. Wait, did we say the third god? Oh, I guess the fourth god in the list.
Yeah.
You got a teaser?
No, I don't really have any teaser for the next god that's coming after those. But we do try and make sure that we're rotating through different roles.
I'm gonna say this to you live, by the way. Did you see the Reddit thread about somebody mentioning Xbalanque basic sounding off in game?
Oh, I saw that, but somebody else said it was really just Kurnos, and people were like extrapolating.
But I was like, how if it is Kurnos, how did they just pick Xba? And then Xba was on the list, so that's why I'm like, dun. Are we doing secret leaks in game with audio cues? That could be fun.
I was gonna look at the list of. Let me look at the sheet real quick and see if there's anything that I can give you just like a tiny nugget for who's next, but that might be. Probably not.
I can't remember who it is.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking, because I'm like, I don't remember. It's
everyone in chat is just listing their favorite gods now. Any Tiamat? Any Maui?
So I will say, because I know this has been
Is it a girl? Is one of the questions.
That's so. There's been a lot of like community
upset.
Yeah,
or opinion based of like we're releasing too many male gods over female gods.
Yeah,
yeah.
And you know, it's definitely nothing weird. It's just like that was the way that the calendar fell.
Well, it's also like we're putting gods over, and the weighted. If you think about the 130 gods from Smite 1, the majority are male.
Yes.
Or well, I mean, I guess if we cast monsters as being male as well, because we've got a lot of fictional monsters.
We always like classify the characters as like male humanoid, female humanoid, monstrous. Yeah. Right. So like Jormungandr would not be classified as like a male god the way that we do our list of things that we're doing. Right. But he is technically male. Yes, I can say that as of right now, things are always subject to change. But as of right now, the next god after these two will be a female goddess.
Okay.
So we definitely have heard that feedback. We've worked to get some more female goddesses onto the calendar.
But it was never intentional in the first place. No. And I think that's what people need to realize is like it's not intended for that way. Also feels how it goes into the schedule too.
Yep.
So a female monster.
Female monster. Yes. No.
So it's already there.
I have no more. Yes. So rat is a monster. Technically, the way that like on our spreadsheets, yes, non-humanoids are all classified as like monsters, but he's a different kind. He's not like.
Is a Raki female or a monster?
I think she's actually monster.
That's interesting. I didn't know that one.
Just on our like skin planing sheets, because like it used to be that we were very careful about like trying to make sure we had a mixture, like in an event, we had a mixture of skins for like male gods, female gods, and like sense. Monstrous gods. So I think that she fit the monstrous, like niche when we were checking things off. But it's really just how you perceive things. But yeah, pretty excited about these gods.
Should be good. Yeah, in the next few weeks as well. I just feel like the pipeline is so busy. Every 2 weeks you're like, okay, and here's a new one.
I feel like you didn't appreciate it as much until you started doing this show.
Until I did more of this show where I'm like, oh goodness, because I guess because we used to do patch notes once a month.
Yeah.
Or like every few weeks. So doing them like 3 times a week. Well, you do them 3 times a week, 2 times a week, plus like announcing, hey, this is coming, this is coming, this is coming. It's just never ending. Go, go, go.
Yep. It is relentless, which used to be one of our company's core values back when we had that.
I do remember that one. It's never ended. So if you got any questions in chat at the moment, we're just going to be hanging out with you now until 2, I guess.
Yeah.
And we're just free to ask questions. Yeah. We can try and answer stuff on gods that are in the pipe or something. The Osiris.
Yeah, we don't have too much more to say. Like at least I don't.
Yeah.
Like maybe you'll ask something that I can comment on, but I don't know too much beyond those. We have been playing both of these gods in playtests, so they are working, but there's a lot of work to be done before we can actually ship them. We do have double worshippers all weekend that started this morning. So we do log in and play. And we do have Jormungandr's Aspect also turned on this morning.
Correct. Right? Jormungandr's Aspect should be live, as is 2 times worshippers. We're going to leave 2 times on until Tuesday as well, just as a heads up.
2 times Tuesday.
2 times Tuesday. Well, that means we'd have to leave it on Tuesday before we turn it off.
2 times till Tuesday.
Okay.
2 times till Tuesday.
That makes sense. Yeah, 2 times till Tuesday. 2 till Tuesday.
Yes.
TTTT. So we want to discuss lasagna.
Somebody was tweeting at me about they even had like a name for one of the aspects for lasagna. I don't remember what it was. It was bad though, like in a good way.
Cheesy bad. Yeah.
I mean, technically lasagna is cheesy. So, what is your favorite voice line from a skin?
My brain is just fried when I'm like, it's a Geb voice line for sure, but I don't even know which one it will be. I just know VGS and Geb is just my kind of go-to.
Yeah.
I can't tell you which one.
I would assume, like, because I feel like you were so excited with GEB1 that you would be like the wee or something.
No, I'm not. I'm more of a, I'm not going to lie, chat. I'm an OK player where I'll press VAA and go, okay.
Yeah.
And OK for me can mean a variety of things of, okay, we didn't do anything there. Okay, we all just watched. Okay, they just threw their lives away.
Yeah.
Okay just kind of fits a lot of things.
One of my favorite skins in the game is the Holiday Sylvanas skin because it just has a very silly voice pack, and his like I think it's like his U-Rock is a happy holiday indeed, and it just cracks me up every time I use it. So I use it all the time. But he's got a lot of good lines in that one. It's quite amusing.
Yeah, someone in chat said the Wii U.
Yeah.
Gebline as well. No surprises there.
What made you choose Xbalanque before Osiris? Wasn't there a cycle? So I would say that we try to stay close to a... there's 5 roles. We try and cycle between the roles. But we aren't going to always hit them in the same order every time exactly. And at some point, we're also just going to start shipping more traditional mid characters because we have more of those in Smite 1 than anything else. Right. So we do... we're going to make sure that, like, out of every 5...
do our best to just have one for every role almost.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's always going to go in the same order. If it did, I think that would get a little bit more boring and a little bit like, oh, I don't have anything to look forward to
for
until
4 months or like 2 months, and then it's like, okay, my new god's coming out, which is my role.
Yes. So, and I do think that also if you are a solo player, Jormungandr kind of gives you that niche to some extent, right? So it's maybe a little bit less of like I desperately need another support character, right? Or excuse me, I desperately need another solo character right now.
Can we get a Paladin's character in Smite 2? We already have. Well, no, we don't already have one, do we?
No.
I was gonna say Grover, but it's like that's Smite
not
1.
Yet. No.
Poor, I miss Sylvanas.
There's a Fernando Ares skin in Smite 1 as well.
There is. I do remember that. That was a good crossover.
Historically, there was a lot of animosity between the Paladins and Smite fan bases. And everybody just always thought that the other one was like the favorite child and was getting more attention and they deserved it, you know?
I mean, that's like most video game companies have the same issue with their licenses as well. Like EA, for example, with the FIFA series versus the Madden series versus... That happens.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And I guess they always feel like they're all, the second child not getting played favorites with, but yeah.
I think there's a lot of great characters in Paladins, so I think that has some of the best characters, like heroes of any of the like hero driven games. I think there's a lot of really interesting archetypes that are done really well in that game.
Definitely.
Would it be possible to make Osiris' skin more greenish to give him an undead appearance? I would say that like it might not be coming through super well on this.
I'll show it on here, but you can definitely see there's definitely a green tint to this. Yeah.
It's not bright green.
It's more
like I would say that like the one on the old one is more of like a goblin green.
Yeah.
And the one on the right is more like an orc green. I'm
trying not to be too sadistic with this, but technically the color of skin in Death is a little bit closer to the one on the right. It's like a deeper color, rather than a lighter green that you can see on the left in these two.
Yeah. So I think I think it's okay. But definitely like Ben is, I'm sure he's watching and getting feedback on all this right now, and we'll pass along any feedback that does come up here.
For sure, we'll get him back on as well at some point to discuss it in further as it gets further along.
Will Xbalanque get a passive change? It's a boring, uninteractive passive. So I will say, this is one of the few other things I do have a little bit of a comment on, that that we are looking at the passive.
Yeah.
I would say the early feedback from like ambassadors and internally has been kind of all over the place about like what his passive should be. So I don't have much detail about like, it could end up being relatively similar to the current passive. It could end up being something wildly different, but we are aware that like his current passive is just kind of do damage to do more damage,
Correct. Yeah. And like while it works, it also could be it could be something we could visit and look into. So I know that's what the team's currently doing at the moment.
Yeah.
It's just not guaranteed because there's always a case of like, well, we could give that some other +1s, but if we do that, we could have gotten better +1s elsewhere. So
and I think it's also like, there's always a, there's a concept of like, I'm trying to think of the best way to explain this to a general audience, but basically like you can make a god too complicated or give players too many things to juggle where a god becomes not interesting anymore. Right. And
as in like just too complex or like there's too much to learn sort of thing. Or?
Yeah. Or it's just like, it becomes more, I'm like, not exactly, but like I'm playing Spreadsheet Simulator instead of like I'm enjoying the process of playing the god, right?
Sure.
And I think that like some of the pitches that I've seen about like how to update his passive are a lot more like, they would require a lot more like micromanagement of things.
Right.
And if you're adding like a whole new micromanagement aspect to playing the character, then it's like, is that taking away from the fun of playing the other parts of the character, right? So it's always a balance of like, does this actually make playing the character more fun? And the hard thing about game design is that it is almost impossible to know what is fun until you make it. Like, you can think in your head, this is going to be really fun. And sometimes you're right, but just as often, even like the world's best game designers, you know, they'll be like, I think this is a really fun idea. And then they'll make it and they'll be like, not really. You know, there's a lot
Didn't work as intended. Yeah.
There's a lot of like finding the fun in game design. If you ask any game designer, they'll tell you the same thing. And it's like, you just need to give yourself the time to play out and test different things and see if it works. Yeah, I don't have any more to say about Osiris's aspect, but we do have some interesting ideas for that.
What was the snippet you gave us? It's gonna
the current part of the current aspect pitch is that it would flip the script on his passive.
And his passive was make him able to walk through walls and take reduced damage.
Yeah, the passive is like you after 8 ability casts.
Yeah,
you get stacks of your broken form,
body
whatever
parts,
it's called.
Yeah.
And you're like your ghosty boy, and you can
Correct.
walk through stuff. And you get, I think it's only physical mitigation, but I might be wrong about that.
You do get some sort of
I haven't played
mitigation
it.
to
I haven't
It's
played
been
it in
a
a
hot
long
minute.
time. And then on successful basic attacks, you would remove stacks of that and go down to it. You also, when you ulted, you went to full stacks of the passive too.
So what would be flipping that mean?
I don't know.
That would mean
I'm not. I'm
trying to work it out with chat. Really, is like maybe they can work it out.
Yep.
And then we find out it changes anyway.
It could be. That's the thing. This was like a teaser because it could be something completely different. Tsukuyomi aspect teaser. You will see Tsukuyomi aspect on Wednesday. I'm 99% sure.
Oh, really?
Assuming we don't kill it last minute, which I don't think we're going to because it seems like it's going the right way. Although it has been very good in our playtests.
I've seen it in the playtest, but I've not noticed exactly what it is.
I think
yet.
you've been on the same team with it every
Probably
time.
the reason.
And it has destroyed.
I've been testing other things
the
that set my
opposing team.
focus a lot of the time.
I will say that like it what's a good way of saying it? It plays with his scalings in an interesting way to enable more of a laner play style for the character.
Okay.
There's more to it than that.
That was pretty cryptic, but also kind of on the nose at the same time.
I need to be a little bit teasery with these.
You do.
You know?
You might as well just come out and say it. Hindu carry, that's why he probably felt strong. I don't know. I mean, I think, was I on Busted Day that day? I definitely have one. There's always a game or two that everyone gets in a dev playtest when you kind of pop off because you're testing something and it might be too strong or too weak as well, and that can really have an impact.
Yeah, definitely. Like there are days where, like, you know, we have a wide skill level of people at the office,
all over, right? For sure.
And there are days when, like, you know, the worst person in the playtest is going like 14-0 or something, you know, because they're like, oh, I stumbled onto something that's really good, you know.
This interaction.
Or there are days where it's like, you know, like Pawn is struggling to stay alive, you know, and he's like, that was not a good playtest. There's something wrong here. Because you know that like Pawn and Clumsy and Caps are like the best people in the playtest. And it's like, they should be doing well every day, right? So classic Hi-Rez matchmaking. Yeah, but you know, dev team matchmaking is a little bit different. It's hard to
you know what? Matchmaking, real quick, right? If you're losing your games and you're at a matchmaking level, you probably deserve to be at that level. If you're winning your games, you should go up.
Yep.
That's what I'm going to say. I'll move on. But everyone's always like, oh, matchmaking. I'm like, man, I've seen some amazing Masters deity level players that have gone 0-12. And then the next game, they're 12-0. You know, like it definitely happens.
Oh, I do have an update on this. Is there an update on getting some kind of a support manager in the Steam discussion forum? There's a lot of people asking for support there. So we looked at that, and a lot of the people that are asking for support or are things that they are expecting kind of answers on are not the kind of things that support would actually answer. And if they have actual issues, they just need to put in a ticket. So we are thinking that we're probably going to like find a way to like pin a post or something that's like, hey, if you have a support issue, go to here. Or, you know, or if you have a bug, like post it on the Discord, right? Like we're not going to probably start actively monitoring the Steam discussion forums because it's just another forum that's only used by a part of the
additional one.
It's only used by part of the community.
Sure.
Right. And like, we'd rather funnel things more towards our Discord and towards the ticket system if you actually have an issue. But we do look at everything in the Discord, and we do look at everything on...
In the Discord, and anytime you submit a bug, you can submit
Yes.
bugs at smite2.com/bugs. There's also a clickable link in-game that you can report bugs to, and they do get seen pretty quickly, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And then they do start to get actioned. To be clear, when we say they start to get actioned, there is a pipeline to get in them of like, you know, how big of a bug this is, how quickly we can turn it around and stuff.
Triage.
But we do... Good word. Yeah. Good word choice. But yeah, we go through a triage stage of like how these bugs are going to get resolved and how soon they can be resolved, and then get to them as quick as you can. And I think that's why you see multiple days a week we come on these shows going, hey, hotfix from the last couple of days. This is some of the things that went in, still things to be done now. And it's going to be never ending. There's always going to be things to continue to update.
I got like 3 quick ones here. How do we do our internal dev matchmaking for tests? Do we set 2 captains like a soccer match, rock, paper, scissors, throw a coin? No, we just have whoever's organizing the playtest for that day, which is usually Caps.
Caps is kind of the one that gets thrown in charge because he's a good evaluator of skill levels and matchups. But the thing is, sometimes not everyone just plays the same role on cooldown. Like me and Arthur, right? Yeah, I don't know if that's...
They don't know who Arthur is.
But Arthur's,
FX guy.
Arthur's freaking great.
He's
right?
great.
But me and him are like dueling in support all the time. It's like a 1v1 and we'll get a carry. We don't care who the carry is. Me and him have like so many different wars in these games. But we'll get matched together a lot. And if we switch to another lane, we generally end up getting put in that lane together too. So if we're both going to play mid, we'll both play there. But now and again, you know, we'll switch it around a little bit. But it's always kind of just trying to find that balance of who's kind of equivalent to each other most of the time. And just like a real matchmaker, it's not always perfect. Or games go bad or games go
the thing
well.
is that, like, it's also like there are different requirements for each playtest about like there's a new god coming out that so-and-so needs to play. And that god only works in this role. So they have to play this role. And then we need to figure out who's going to play against them. It's an equivalent skill level in that role. Like, because... I usually end up playing against like you have your role opponent.
Sure.
I very frequently end up getting matched up with Zaneski. And who's a level designer, and we're roughly the same skill level, I would say. But when we get matched up as hunters, he just destroys me because I'm an awful hunter. I'm just so bad at the role. I don't understand what I should be doing. I don't know. I need to practice it more or whatever, right? Very frequently I end up in jungle, and like jungle I can keep up with most of the people in the game, at least at some level. Like, and then put me as a hunter and I'm awful. I had a couple other quick ones here. Sorry.
We're gonna be stretching them too long.
I scrolled too long. Oh no. Okay, I lost him. I'll find him again. If you want to take one while I'm looking.
I'm looking. I was too busy answering that one about
that was a fun
matchmaking our games. I mean, I think, like you said, though, it's a lot of the time we've also tested new gods. So it's like, oh, is that my favorite god? I want to jump on that sort of thing and test them around. I know them a little bit better.
Yep. Is there only going to be one aspect in the next update? I believe that currently we're targeting only having the Tsukuyomi aspect. We are doing our best to get ahead on a few things because we have some people that have vacation planned out and whatnot. So the kind of priority is like keeping the God cadence going for the next little bit over going back and doing additional aspects. But as time allows, we'll definitely go back and do more aspects.
Are you planning to do the same update for the item descriptions, but for the God abilities?
That was the other one I was trying to find.
Yeah, Thank you. I like that question.
So definitely we want to. It seems like the feedback has been really good on the item descriptions. I just need the time to do that. I was going to start on it this week because I actually did the first pass on items.
On the item stuff, yeah.
And then like Pawn and Clumsy weighed in and made them better, right? I'm not sure I take credit.
Sure. Like you were involved in the process.
I was involved in the process and I did the first pass. So kind of makes sense that I would do the first pass on the gods as well because everybody else is busy with their own stuff. And I had some other work pop up this week that I kind of wasn't expecting. So I did not get to start on it this week. Maybe next week. I think
that's the thing with the team guys as well. Is like we're all actively kind of mucking in, doing different things. And at times when we say like it's coming, it just means we've got other things on the plate that are also actionable at the same time. So some things get pushed further down. But it's good to hear that because I expected as much if we did the items and it goes well. Yeah, we're going to look to implement it with the God abilities as well. But
I will say, I think it's going to be harder to make the God abilities as clean and consistent because they tend to do more.
This displaces, but it can also slow. And then if you start, it doesn't do this.
And it just doesn't. They don't necessarily follow the same. There's a very consistent format for how items work, whereas abilities tend to be a little bit more diverse. So
that's true.
I think that we're definitely going to do the work, but it's just I would not be surprised if they don't turn out quite as clean as the items do, but hopefully it's still a massive improvement for what we have now. We should get a fleet of unpaid interns. I think that's actually not legally allowed unless they are getting college credit.
A fleet.
For being interns. So if you are somehow getting college credit for being an intern, then we could not pay you. But otherwise, you have to pay interns. If somebody's trying to get you to be an intern and not paying you, they should be paying you. This person has been asking me questions about the Women's Rugby World Cup for a few days. Yeah. And I'm going to have to admit somewhat sheepishly that I do not follow women's rugby other than I watched it at the Olympics.
I think it's because you mentioned rugby in the past.
No, yeah, I played rugby in college, and like I do follow rugby a little bit, but I don't follow women's rugby, unfortunately. And it's nothing against them. I live in America, and there's barely any rugby on TV in the first place. So following women's rugby is just like the extra step beyond that's very difficult as an American right now. American football better anyway. Well, this is a big weekend in Atlanta.
It's the first weekend this weekend. It's opening weekend, right?
For college football.
Oh, for college football.
Which is more important than pro football here in the South.
Gotcha.
So
I didn't know when it started, by the way. I was just like, okay, the college football season is going to start.
So this weekend is...
Go Dogs is what I understand.
Yeah.
Yes, I've learned that over time. We didn't do well last year, though.
I don't know. They didn't. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I started trying to follow it last year as well. Where I'm like, okay, I'm going to commit to following some football this year. Trying to follow the Falcons with Cousins. That didn't go well, you know. And I'm
now you get to follow them with Penix. So
we'll see how it goes.
But this weekend in Atlanta is a very big weekend, like culturally for the city.
Okay.
Because this weekend every year there's two huge events that happen here. We have Dragon Con.
Is that one of them?
Dragon Con.
Okay, that is one of them. Okay.
Dragon Con is one of the biggest like nerd conventions in the country, and it takes over downtown Atlanta, and like all of the hotels are turned into part of this thing. And in Atlanta style, it's kind of just like a big party.
Yes.
There are things that are part of the convention where you can like go listen to talks on things, and there's
seminars and meet and greets with so many different famous people.
Yeah, it's really a cool thing. I met the guy who, just randomly. I met the guy who was the voice of Baymax.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it was really cool. But
did he speak in that voice or?
He did because my wife loves that show or that movie.
Yeah,
and he was like, and she was wearing a shirt with him on it, with the character on it, and he was like, oh yeah, you like that character? And then he like did the voice, and she was like, wait, and he was like, yeah, I'm that guy. And it was like, oh my gosh, yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. But anyway, amazing nerd festival.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the college football kickoff is going on at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which is in downtown Atlanta. And
Classics.
So it's like these two big football things. So, and most groups didn't know the other one. So like the MARTA trains, which, like our subway here, it's like half like college football fans and half like nerds in cosplay. And it's just like the greatest like interweaving of humanity that you find.
Atlanta seems to do that a lot though, because we had a couple of weeks ago, the WWE was in town, the wrestling happened, and Beyonce was also performing. So you had Beyonce fans everywhere in cowboy hats and wrestling nerds everywhere. It was a great combo.
Yep. It's a fun city.
Slightly off topic questions, but yeah, it's a fun weekend. Is the next role getting after Osiris a mid? Not sure yet. We will say, though, it's looking like it's going to be a female.
Yes.
Is all we can say on that right now. If you're asking about aspect ideas for Osiris, that's not really us that we can really handle that. I'll try and let the team know, but I'm sure they'll read the chat anyway, so... For my birthday, my birthday was this week. For my birthday present, can I ask for the Jack the Reaper Thanatos to get ported over for Halloween? You can ask. That doesn't necessarily mean we can do. But happy birthday for last week.
Yeah. Is it an upgrade of the website in the pipe? Actually, we're currently thinking that we are probably going to do away with our website and just start making the wiki, which is
SMITE Wiki.
SMITE Wiki. Kind of our official website, and leaning more into that because I feel like in the year 2025, how often do you actually like go to a game's website to get information about the game? Like I never do. And I think that
unless you're trying to connect for rewards or something like that, I guess is the only things I think of when I go think of a game's website.
Yeah, and most games are just like kind of doing away with the idea of like this big site of.
There's also a lot of data that you kind of like need, but the wiki kind of double dips into that because you get all the items, all the abilities, and stuff, so it does make some sense.
So I think we're leaning towards more embracing the wiki as our main website versus making big changes to the existing website. Does reporting people actually do anything? Yes. I would recommend you go back and watch our last episode of the show.
It's true.
Where Handyman actually goes through a little bit about like...
I banned 4 kids this morning. I guarantee you people get banned. I'll say it. Like we ban people. And I'm not the team, but I work with the team, and sometimes I'll see some naughty people in streams and stuff, and action will get taken. I guarantee you though, here's the thing, because me and the support team were talking about Wednesday's show, funny enough. Reporting game. The amount of people that will report to us in a different format or complain about something, but are not actually reporting them in game is ridiculous. We have a lot of tech on the back end that can look for suspects, but people just don't report them, which takes us longer to find and track these people down and nuke them. And by nuke them, I'm going to use the word suspension, because nobody gets perma-banned the first mistake because everyone's like, oh no, can't ban me, I only did it once. There is a suspension train that increases until I lose my mind, and
if you have not learned your lesson, you know.
Yeah. If you get so many strikes and there's a certain point where I'm like, I'm over this now, especially when it's certain things. So yes, people do earn suspensions, do earn bans, but report. You do not need a pop-up in game to say an action has been taken against a player. It doesn't even tell you who the action was taken against. Like we would like to do that, but we don't have that at the moment. I promise you, people do get suspended and banned. There's not much more I can do than just say it, really.
Yep.
But please report. Please report.
The question about whether Xbalanque will get anti-heal because of his poisons. I don't know. It's thematically, I think it makes sense, but from a design perspective, I don't know if that's...
Does poison have to be toxic? You know, does it have to be anti-healing?
Yeah.
You know?
Some MMOs like
can poison be buffing healing?
I don't know, WoW, but maybe.
I'm just thinking out loud, you know?
I feel like, I don't know if this was a WoW
It does more damage, but if you heal, it reduces it, something like that.
In EverQuest, there was poison was really just like damage, and disease was anti-healing, and there were like 2 different kinds of dots that had different effects on you. So
poison's always been a subjective one because everyone just expects it to do dot damage. Like even I'm thinking I've been playing a lot of Bizarre lately, but poison in that is another dot effect that continues. What other questions have we got? Dun, dun, dun.
Sorry, a lot of long questions. Hard to read sometimes.
Some of them are repeats as well of stuff you either answered before, chat, or
I haven't answered this one in a long time. Can you just bring back the traditional class names, please? We all refer to them anyway. That is definitely fair feedback. The reason why we didn't do it, though, is that we felt like, especially transitioning from SMITE 1 into a new system where we want gods to be playable in more roles, and we want people to accept that they're playable in more roles. If we were to flag like, Kali is an assassin, and everybody's like, well, assassins go into the jungle, so what do you do in playing Kali, not in the jungle?
And you've got an aspect. Now you're going to play that in the jungle, you're going to play that in Hunter. Yeah.
So I think that like, just for the sake of helping people to understand that gods, it's our intent that gods are playable in more roles in Smite 2, we didn't go down that path. I think that like in standard nomenclature, like, people I still say carry all the time. Or I still say hunter all the time. I still say a lot of these, but I think that it is probably better for the game to not have like this kind of strict
forced almost.
Yeah.
It's a good directional advice though for newer players and people getting into the game to understand that. However, when you get into the depth of the game, like Ra technically can support, Hades can support, is a support player too, but you wouldn't necessarily class them as guardians as such, even if they could go that way. I was going to complain about my Ra support now. I haven't done it in a while, but I know it works. Am I going to play Path of Exile 2 League? No, you know what? I've not played PoE 2 for a minute. I played it when it first came out for a while, and then got a few characters deep, and then it's one of those games that invests a lot, So sometimes if you just not got the time, you're like, I'll do it at a later date.
Yeah, I've played PoE a couple times. I'm not much of a like looter action RPG person.
It's very mind-numbingly switch off for me. That's why I like it. Like it's the same as Diablos. You know, the Diablo series is very much along the same lines.
I just finished a game last night. I'm not going to...
Diablo?
No, just a video game. A video game I was playing. I finished last night. Tales of Kendara Zhao.
I've heard of it. But
yeah, it was all right. I would not something I would go out of my way to recommend. But,
my two at the moment are SMITE. Obviously, it's just an addiction at the moment. You know, when you I get in phases with SMITE all the time because I've done it for 12 or so years now. Like SMITE will catch me and I'm like 6 months crazy. But the Bazaar's the only other one that I've been up to. That and iRacing. Yeah. They're my three at the moment.
iRacing just announced they're going to do a standalone IndyCar game.
They are doing a NASCAR indie game that's been in the works for a minute, I believe, and I was interested in that. But yeah, it's been pretty addictive. I
see questions about API access. I don't have any updates yet. I need to get back in touch with the people that are theoretically working on that and see how it's going.
You got an answer on API. Congratulations.
Yeah, not much of an answer, but it is an answer.
There's also the part of this as well, Chad, that if you keep spamming the same thing in chat, there's a reason we're not answering it, which is probably no, or like we just don't have an update.
I don't have an update for you. Yeah.
We feel bad about just answering it on cooldown.
Yeah.
iRacing makes a SMITE card game. That's a reach.
I gotta do some BD and see if we can biz dev and talk to them and see if we can make it happen.
That sounds good. How many do you have Radiant?
Do I?
Someone has 28.
I don't have that many. I don't know. I have a handful. It's hard because a lot of my time is spent on the dev client.
Yeah, so that happens a lot. When you work on the game, you don't always play live games as much. And then there's also the factor of like sometimes you just spectating games or playing custom games as well, which don't always count. So I think I'm at like 6 at the moment.
How is Wukong aspect performing in y'all's eyes? I don't know statistically how it's performing, but I think it's fun.
Games I've played in and seen myself rather than data, it feels like a fun aspect that you have to play around because people want to play some Wukong. It's a different play style for some Wukong, and I do think it has a place. I think when the items and the metas continue to shift around with the mage items and stuff, you'll see that come in and out of vogue, in my opinion, of like focus. So.
And I honestly think that like, this is a hot take. I think that aspect Wukong support, focusing on the bull knockup plus the spin knockup.
I've messed with that myself,
is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's viable at the top levels of ranks, but like at my elo, like it feels pretty darn good. So
I just realized the question was that aspect and not just like the intelligence version, because there's 2 versions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think the aspect it hits multiple different areas though. So you can go more of the mage form with it, or you can go with the ox form into more of a support role.
The tiger is a little underwhelming. I agree.
I think everyone agrees that the tiger is probably the most underwhelming, but I also feel like as the game continues to grow, there will be niche moments when that comes into play. Like, you know, attack speed items get buffed and all of a sudden Sun Wukong's there with his tiger form ready.
I also wonder, like, I don't know, maybe there's something else we could do to make that just a little bit more interesting as a choice. Because sometimes you do want to stun people, but then it's like, oh, I'm locked into this, you know. So
well, you got risk reward, right?
Yeah.
In some regard, you can't have everything, but that's what people want.
Can we have god names displayed on selected or hovered gods in match lobby? A friend of mine who's relatively new said it would help him a lot. Yeah, our match lobby is really bad for new players, and that's why we're kind of... I don't want to say we're completely redoing it, but we are in the process of a major overhaul to our match lobby. I was initially hoping that it was going to be ready for this next update, but we weren't happy with the direction that the development was going, and it was making some things just more confusing when the point was to make it easier, you know? So we went back to the drawing board a little bit. Hopefully it'll be not this next update, but the update afterwards. But we'll see. It'll ship when it's ready.
Answer there is really, it's in process. We agree with you, and we are taking a look at it for the most part. It's always weird because I feel like we see things on the back end that we're working on, but sometimes it just goes through so many iterations that it takes a while longer. And also, talking about it gets everyone super hyped for it, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer than we plan to, or we want to change it up, so we try and avoid that sometimes.
Will you overhaul the gods tab UI? There's 65 gods, and it's super laggy. I would say there are a few like UI screens.
So we just stop producing gods, right? That'll work. Yeah.
There's a few UI tabs that they need like an optimization pass, and they are a little bit like laggy. We're aware of that. Most of our dev efforts are focused more on in-game stuff because we find that makes more of a difference for players in the short term.
Yeah.
And you know, you don't really interact with those other screens that often.
As often.
So most of we try to prioritize in-game stuff first, but that doesn't mean that
that
we
just
aren't
makes
aware
logical
of it.
sense though. To like, where do you spend most of the game is in gameplay, so you want to try and focus efforts there wherever possible.
Yep. When's console getting chat? We talk about this quite frequently.
All the time.
But just real quick, we have to go through like a certification process to do that. So we need to like stop patching for a period of time in order to be able to do that. I don't have a firm ETA for when we're going to do that, but it's, you know, something that we're aware of and we want to do at some point. I can't comment too much about like financial stuff. There's been a lot of financial questions that popped up today.
How's the business doing?
Yeah, but generally speaking, I would say like, you know, we have had like, I can say that like we were profitable last month. Like, you know, the game is trending in the right direction. Like I've said previously, you know, we're continuing to have players retain better. You know, we're monetizing a little bit better. Like things are going in the right direction. There's no real concerns.
Penny game pentakill. Smite 1 is better. You are factually at this point in time wrong. And I'm happy to say that.
I can't say that, but just
because I'm going to.
I feel like I feel like I'm too much of a shill if I'm like, no, come play.
No, listen, I think the community's known me long enough to try not to shill out wherever possible, but at the same time, go and play Smite 1, play Smite 2. Tell me there is not a factual upgrade there, because there is, and you can really feel it now. Mm-hmm. Maybe months and months ago in the early stages, there was definitely arguments, but no.
How are we looking for god borders and leaderboards? I would say that's something that we're like aware of a desire for, but it's not on our dev calendar yet. It's kind of in the list of like nice to have future features after we get through some of the more important shorter term things.
Yep. Well, we're approaching 2:00, so with that in mind, I'll quickly just showcase as we look for one more. We should do the bit, right?
We got to do the bit.
Well, I was going to just showcase these real quick again, real fast as we've got a second. So, obviously, Xbalanque has been announced today. He will be joining the Battleground of the Gods. Here's a little side-by-side comparison of him from 1 into 2. And then I'm going to have to bring us back to cams again to just showcase the other one, because I speedily set this up today. Mm-hmm. And here's a little look at Osiris that is also going to be coming to the Battleground with the side-by-side. Again, these are work in progress, but a little early look at the difference between Smite 1 and Smite 2 iterations.
Yep.
And we will be talking more about these in the coming weeks too. However, Wednesday is going to be our next Titan Talk show, and we will be showcasing all about Tsukuyomi, I believe.
Real quick, somebody says, were any skins revealed this stream? No, this stream we're just talking about the
God Pipe.
The next two gods after Tsukuyomi. On Wednesday, when we talk about Tsukuyomi, we'll show the skins that are in that update as well. So tune in on Wednesday for kind of the patch overview show for OB18. Is that the next one? Whatever the next number is. The one after this one. I think it's 18.
Patch. Yeah. Yes, we are on 18. Sorry.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't know why I was so confused by that question. But it is now 1:59, and it's a Friday, and it's before the long weekend, and it is time for
one more question.
That is generally full.
Yes, 4 more questions.
When is full release? That's a good question to have. We don't know. We'll let you know. When we know, we'll let you know.
Yeah,
but at the moment, we don't know.
When the game's ready, we like to set expectations properly by saying it's a beta. I would say, you know, even as we like progress into the next stage of development, right, it probably will still be called a beta, right? It just might be a little bit less in your face about how much of a beta it is, but we just don't want people to like think they're coming into a full game that's done, you know, because we're aware of all these things that we want to do to make it better, right? It's not like we're trying to trick people, you know, into thinking that this is
exactly.
Yeah.
Allies on character select screen we already mentioned that a little bit earlier in the stream as well, of like we're looking into investigating the lobby selection screens and stuff like that. That is a work in progress. We'll give you updates when we have more.
I gotta pick a question, I guess. Lonnie check. I don't have an Alani today. I have a Monster Zero Ultra. It's slightly less caffeine, and I felt like if I had an Alani, my heart might explode. So
I feel like the last couple of shows you've been like, I've had a lot of caffeine.
My kids haven't been sleeping, so I get up in the morning and I'm like, I need to drown some coffee or down some coffee before I get into the office, and then I keep drinking coffee, and then by the time it's 1 o'clock, I'm like, I could use a little bit more caffeine, but not that much.
Hindu, shout out SMITE Prime Tour this Saturday. You know what? Why not? That's a great segue. Thank you so much. Does this even work anymore? No, I'm lying. I put the wrong screen up. Where is it? There it is. SMITE Prime! If you check it out this weekend, the SMITE Prime tournament is in week 4, which means the cash prizing is on the line this weekend, I believe. You can check it out from midday on SMITE Game, where some of the best players are actively playing in this tournament, and catch some of the casters and stuff. There's some really cool clips that come out of this, and you actually get a good insight at the moment into what Comp SMITE is about. Comp SMITE 2 is about, where items get changed, gods get used all the time. So keep an eye out for all that stuff.
Yep. I gotta say something else. I need to pick a question. To get that Alani sponsor, you need to be more consistent.
You do.
I just don't think it's happening at this point.
You can't do the Alani sponsor. You can't ask for a Alani sponsorship and then go, but I didn't drink it today because I was caffeinated on it.
Yeah. Well, if they would have ever answered any of my messages, maybe I'd be a little bit more.
He's turning on Alani.
I'm not turning on them. You know, it's still good. I just let's see. This is. I'm going to answer this in a weird way. Besides the obvious games, what other games do you look at for inspiration when it comes to making any design changes? And I would say that a lot of, for me personally, right, like I look at what the other games are doing in terms of like gameplay design, but most of like my personal expertise is more around like what people would call like product management at a lot of studios, which is more focused on like, systems, monetization, like how we structure our releases, how we get people to engage with the game, like that kind of thing. It's more like the kind of design that I look at. And so I would say there's a really good blog called Deconstructor of Fun, where it's basically a bunch of product managers that like break down other games and how their systems work. And I always find that really interesting whenever they have a new post. There was a really good one that came out a couple of months ago about Duolingo, which is not actually a game, but has all of these like gamification elements that lead you to be more engaged with it.
Okay.
And like, so I find that really interesting. I think there's just a lot of, you kind of get inspiration from all sorts of different sources. Like, I don't know if you guys remember the 10 million gem giveaway that we did in SMITE 1.
I do remember that one.
Yeah, that was inspired by me listening to Sports Talk Radio in Atlanta, and they had a contest where they were giving away like $1,000 every hour or something. And I was like, I bet you they do that because it makes people listen to the radio a lot.
True.
And I bet you we could do the same thing in SMITE, and we did it, and it worked great. So you get inspiration from all sorts of sources.
I do remember the announcements in game of like, they won.
Yeah,
they won.
Well, and that's a big part of it. It's like, well, you got to keep listening because you could win next, right? So it was fun.
True. Well, listen, chat, thank you so much for joining us on this Friday before the Labor Day weekend. 2 times Wishbear weekend is active now through till Tuesday. Aspect Yorm is also available in your games right about now. Alex, any final thoughts before we say goodbye?
No, you should watch it on Tuesday or on Wednesday because we're going to be showing Tsukuyomi and slam some Qs over the weekend. Have a lot of fun and have a good weekend.
Check us all out on there as well. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll see you all on the battlegrounds. Have a good day, chat. Bye-bye.